boosts SiriusXM's reach. Powerful new satellite launched to orbit on June 7th. In a meticulously executed mission that demonstrated the intersection of technological innovation, spaceflight mastery, and mass media evolution, SpaceX successfully launched the SiriusXM SXM-9 satellite to orbit on June 7, 2025, from Space Launch Complex 40 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station in Florida. The mission represented not only a strategic leap forward for SiriusXM's broadcast capabilities, but also a reaffirmation of SpaceX's leadership in the global commercial launch sector. With the seamless deployment of SXM-9 into geostationary transfer orbit and the flawless recovery of the Falcon 9 first stage booster at sea, the event underscored a new era where satellite communications, reusable rocketry, and commercial aerospace partnerships are redefining the infrastructure behind the content that billions consume. The launch was a highly anticipated endeavor for SiriusXM, which continues to rely on a fleet of orbiting satellites to broadcast music, talk, sports, and emergency content to more than 34 million subscribers across North America. At 11:04 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, the Falcon 9's 9 Merlin engines ignited with a thunderous rumble, producing a wall of sound and light as the rocket ascended into clear blue skies, its shimmering exhaust plume trailing into the upper atmosphere. Within 2.5 minutes, the first stage had completed its job, separating cleanly and initiating its descent back to Earth for recovery. Meanwhile, the second stage, carrying the nearly 7,000-kilogram SXM-9 payload, continued its climb toward orbit, executing a precise burn to deliver the satellite into a geostationary transfer orbit over 22,000 miles above Earth. Constructed by Maxar Technologies and based on the flight-proven SSL 1300 platform, the SXM-9 satellite represents the latest in high-powered, broadcast-grade satellite engineering. Its design includes a 9-meter unfurlable S-band antenna, multiple high-efficiency power amplifiers, radiation-hardened avionics, and high-density lithium-ion batteries to support uninterrupted service. Once fully deployed in its final orbital slot near 85 degrees west longitude, the satellite will begin transmitting hundreds of high-quality digital radio channels, delivering consistent signal integrity even in environments where terrestrial or cellular networks are unavailable, such as in deserts, forests, remote highways, open seas, or mountainous terrain. What makes this mission even more significant is its place in the timeline of SiriusXM's long-term space strategy. The company has heavily invested in maintaining a robust and redundant orbital architecture, having launched several prior satellites including SXM-3, SXM-5, and SXM-8 over the past 2 decades. Notably, SXM-7, which launched in December 2020, suffered a catastrophic power system failure shortly after reaching orbit, rendering it unusable. SXM-9 is not just a replacement for aging hardware, but an evolution, incorporating improved thermal dissipation, stronger onboard processing capabilities, and higher downlink power. In the broader communications landscape, where streaming services dominate urban regions with high bandwidth connectivity, SiriusXM's satellite platform remains indispensable in reaching subscribers across all geographic conditions. The launch further demonstrated the refined and disciplined capabilities of SpaceX's Falcon 9 system. The first stage booster used for this mission, designated B-1069, was flying its 15th mission, a milestone that testifies to SpaceX's commitment to booster reusability and the operational excellence that makes such high-tempo reuse viable. After stage separation, the booster performed a flawless series of burns and grid fin-guided maneuvers to guide it back to a precise landing on SpaceX's autonomous drone ship, a shortfall of Gravitas, stationed downrange in the Atlantic Ocean. The successful recovery ensures that this booster may yet be refurbished for additional missions, minimizing hardware waste and further driving down launch costs. An advantage SpaceX continues to exploit across its diverse manifest of customers and missions. In statements released shortly after the launch, SiriusXM praised the precision and reliability of the deployment, emphasizing that SXM-9 would allow the company to offer more consistent coverage, including improved resilience during solar activity or terrestrial emergencies that may disrupt ground-based transmission infrastructure. The satellite is expected to enter service after a several-week period of orbital adjustments and system checks, during which onboard thrusters will circularize its orbit and attitude control systems will orient it for maximum broadcast efficiency. Engineers will test transmission signal strength, latency, frequency alignment, and redundancy protocols to ensure the satellite can seamlessly integrate with SiriusXM's existing constellation and terrestrial uplink network. For SpaceX, the successful execution of the SXM-9 mission adds another chapter to its expanding legacy of dependable commercial launches. With more than 300 orbital missions to date, including deployments for NASA, the Department of Defense, international clients, and commercial customers ranging from telecommunications companies to satellite internet providers, SpaceX's reliability is now a defining element of the global space economy. The company's ability to offer quick turnaround launches, high payload precision, and booster recovery at a fraction of traditional costs continues to reshape how companies like SiriusXM plan, budget, and implement orbital strategies. But beyond technical excellence, the launch also carries symbolic importance. It underscores a fundamental shift in how information and entertainment are disseminated in the modern world. The convergence of space-based platforms and media networks means that spaceflight is no longer the exclusive domain of exploration, science, or defense. It is now a pillar of cultural and commercial connectivity. Every music track, sports event, political commentary, and emergency broadcast that SiriusXM delivers via satellite is now backed by spaceflight infrastructure that is built, launched, and maintained with a regularity once unimaginable outside government programs. From an economic standpoint, the mission highlights a flourishing intersection between aerospace engineering and content distribution. Satellite radio remains one of the few mediums capable of offering uninterrupted service across vast territories, making it indispensable for car manufacturers, aviation companies, maritime operators, and emergency response teams. This makes SiriusXM's investment in new satellite infrastructure not just a technological upgrade, but a strategic imperative, particularly in light of the evolving media landscape, where terrestrial internet streaming cannot yet offer the same level of reach or reliability. Furthermore, the successful June 7th launch points toward a future where space-based infrastructure becomes increasingly modular and upgradable. With advances in robotic servicing, orbital debris mitigation, and inter-satellite linkages, future iterations of the SXM series may eventually include in-orbit maintenance capabilities or direct integration with other space assets, such as broadband constellations or Earth observation platforms. In this vision of a connected orbital ecosystem, SpaceX's role as the launch provider becomes even more central, acting not just as a carrier of payloads, but as a foundational enabler of a globally networked digital environment. As the SXM-9 satellite begins its slow, deliberate maneuvering to its final orbital position and initiates a series of tests before becoming fully operational, its successful launch serves as a reminder of how integral spaceflight has become to the daily lives of millions. What was once the domain of engineers, astronauts, and military planners is now deeply woven into the fabric of everyday entertainment, navigation, and communication. For the driver listening to live sports in a desert, the mariner tuning into music in the middle of the ocean, or the emergency responder relying on uninterrupted updates in a crisis, this satellite and the rocket that placed it into orbit are more than just machines, they are lifelines. In sum, the June 7th, 2025 mission involving the SpaceX Falcon 9 and the SiriusXM SXM-9 satellite was far more than a technical success. It was a profound affirmation of what the space industry has become in the 21st century, not just a frontier of exploration, but a critical infrastructure layer supporting commerce, culture, and connection. As SiriusXM expands its reach and SpaceX continues to elevate the possibilities of orbital logistics, their partnership illustrates how spaceflight has moved from spectacle to utility, serving as the unseen force that powers voices, stories, and music across the modern world.